financial problems, elder law, criminal law, tax problems, business matters, divorce, personal injury, bankruptcy, your life, your reality. Life is complicated. There is the law and there is reality. Welcome to Law and Reality, sponsored by THAV GROSS. Now here's your host, Ken Gross.
Welcome to this segment of Law and Reality. Today's topic is when the mortgage forbearance ends, what are you going to do? Brian Small.
Pleasure to be here, Ken. I think the topic should be, should I or shouldn't I?
Well, we'll see how that develops. You probably shouldn't. Jeff Linden.
Morning, Ken. I'm studying about that right now.
It's kind of like a dragnet type of a statement. Jim Samasco, good to see you.
Pleasure as always.
Should
I think you need a crystal ball to be able to tell that answer.
Time will tell. Well, that's probably, we all could use a crystal ball with regard to a lot of things that are going on out there. But what is mortgage forbearance, first of all? We're talking about the CARES Act from COVID. CARES Act was the big act passed. It was the second bill passed in March of 2020. It allowed on all federally backed mortgages, Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, FHA, the mortgagor, that's us, had the ability to request forbearance from our lender by contacting the lender and asking for forbearance. You were entitled to 6 months of no payments with an extension right for an additional 6 months. The key is you had to ask the lender. Now,
So let me see if I got this right. You can pick up the phone if you have a federally backed mortgage, call your lender, and not pay your mortgage for 12 months, up to 12
correct,
months.
and that still applies.
So that's
And
good, so I
this
don't have
does-
to pay the money,
And
right?
this doesn't create a problem?
Well, the CARES Act came up with this, recognizing that a massive number of people were out of work. So they came up with this to provide assistance. Now, here's the uncertainties. What happens when the 12 months are up, or the 6 months if you don't extend it?
Right.
We don't know. They haven't decided yet.
Well, we do know one thing. We do know that you still have to pay the money back.
You ultimately have to pay it back, but do you have to pay it back? It's not anticipated that you're going to be expected to pay all 12 months back on the next day after the year is up.
Right.
But are they going to give you a mortgage modification similar to what we went through in the recession with HAMP, Home Affordable Modification Program? Are they going to say you have 1 year to pay back the arrearage, or you have 2 years to pay back the arrearage? We don't know the answers. Here's what most people think, though. If it goes in the direction of a loan modification, you'll only get your loan modified if you're working and you have income. Go back to what we went through during the Great Recession. We could modify mortgages. It was a challenge, but we could modify mortgages for clients who had income. If you had zero income because you were not working because you lost your job, you could not get a loan modification. And that's a serious potential problem with COVID, especially in the hospitality industry. When are you going to get called back? When the pandemic's over, hopefully, and people start traveling and going to hotels and the restaurant industry and everything else. There's a lot of uncertainty, so the question is, how does that bear on your decision process?
Well, the first thing you shouldn't do is just call up and get a loan, get your loan put in forbearance. You shouldn't do that without doing an analysis of your financial situation. It actually may be detrimental, and when we do our case study, we'll show everybody how it can be detrimental to be in a mortgage forbearance.
Let me throw out a circumstance that we've seen happening, and I think we actually covered it a couple shows ago in some of the articles. The second quarter of 2020, consumer credit card debt was paid down, I think, to the tune of $84 billion. The reason why? People took the benefit of their mortgage forbearance, their PUD payments, the 600 extra unemployment per week, their state unemployment, the fact that they weren't going out spending money because there wasn't much to do, and they said, you know what, I'm going to pay down my credit card debt. Credit card debt went down in the second quarter at the greatest amount ever in history. Now, if you did that and you paid down your credit card debt with the money that you got from the mortgage forbearance, on one hand, that sounds good, but now let's go to the other hand. Your forbearance period is over. You don't have a job. How are you going to pay back the mortgage if they won't give you a loan modification? And if you had not taken the forbearance,
Forget it.
and didn't pay down the credit
forget
cards,
that you don't
you
have
wouldn't
a
have
job.
needed it.
You do have a job, okay? But your income has been cut because you're in the hospitality industry, or your employer was gracious enough to be able to keep you on rather than fire you because they can't afford it, but they had to cut your pay. Now what you've done was reduce your available income to pay a mortgage, and your mortgage payment has gone up. Instead of getting some advanced planning done and figuring out how to get rid of the debt that you can get rid of, and then deal with your mortgage if you have to.
Let's assume you're watching the show, you didn't do advanced planning. You are in a forbearance. The question is, what do you do now? This segment of the show was designed to raise the issue of you've got to start thinking about what's going to happen when that 1 year period is up, and what are your alternatives?
Well, better question is should you be waiting for that 1 year period,
Or should you
be
stop the
acting right now?
Correct. And we're going to, so let's go through the alternatives. All right, so what are your options? What's one option? How do you do? What if you are in a situation, well, let's take a break, but the answer to the question I want is, what if your situation is such that when your forbearance period is over, you think you're going to lose your job?
COVID-19 presents a fight for our personal and business financial survival. You have to make choices. Cash is critical. Do you tap your retirement, home equity line, or run up the credit cards? You need the right plan to avoid being wiped out, and you need it now. You can't rely on the government or banks. Call us. We're the experts in financial crisis. We are here for you and your business in the Great Recession, and we're here for you now. We will create a plan and get through this together. THAV GROSS will solve your problem.
Carrying too much debt? Resolve your debt. Call THAV GROSS.
You don't need to be broke, and you don't need to hit rock bottom. If you have income and you're struggling with debt, dump it. Think about the next 10 or 20 years. If you do what the banks tell you, you'll have nothing to retire with. There is a solution.
Don't waste your future. Call THAV GROSS. We're experts at eliminating credit card debt. 888-235-HELP. That's 888-235-HELP.
A lifetime of hard work. If you don't have the right plan in place, you can lose your home, your savings, and more. And you didn't come this far to lose everything. Samasco Law wants you to know that laws are changing. Today, the average cost of nursing home care is $85,000 a year. With proper planning, we can help protect your life savings and get you the Medicaid and nursing home benefits you deserve.
How much can you afford to lose? Call Samasco Law today.
You can't work. You have to deal with pain and stress. Worse yet, our system for applying for disability benefits seeks to deny you the benefits you're entitled. Jeff Kirschner is an expert in obtaining disability and workers' compensation benefits for his clients. You need to call Jeff before you apply or after you're denied to get the benefits you deserve. 888-235-HELP. 888-235-HELP. If you're retired and in a financial crisis, there is a way out.
It pains me when I see a retired couple exhaust their savings by paying credit card bills and for a home hopelessly underwater.
THAV GROSS specializes in helping retired people in financial crisis.
You just can't keep paying until you're broke. You need to address the problem now.
888-235-HELP. That's 888-235-HELP.
We're THAV GROSS. Our firm will solve your problem.
Tax problems are major problems. Don't let the IRS levy your wages and seize your assets. There is a solution.
We're THAV GROSS. Our firm will solve your problem.
If you're behind on your taxes and owe money to the IRS, call THAV GROSS.
We've been solving tax problems for 32 years. We stop wage levies, resolve unfiled returns, and obtain the best possible settlements.
Call THAV GROSS today, 888-235-HELP.
Okay, so I'm going to change the scenario a little bit. Rather than just give you what if, let's do a case study.
Sounds good.
Manda and Mark, the forbearance mistake. Here's their deal. They have a house payment in forbearance. They're both employed right now. Mark's the manager at a local gym. He's one of 5 managers on staff.
A little scary place to be working
A
these
little
days.
bit worried. Amanda's a nurse. And
Not so scary.
Not so scary, but the hospitals have had massive layoffs when they get busy because of a surge of intensive care. All elective work goes down the drain, and they've had a lot of layoffs. So, and they've lost a lot of money. So, Amanda's has cause for concern too. So, employment in the future is in question, but right now it's there. They've got credit card debt of $50,000. They have medical bills of $5,000. They have income tax debt of $10,000. Here's their budget. With the deferral of the mortgage payment, their net income, either way, their net income is $6,666 a month. They're both grossing $4,166. They're netting $3,333. Okay, so they get $6,600 coming in. Right now, with the mortgage deferral, they have 0 mortgage payment. Their credit card payments are $2,250 a month. That's the $1,250 that they have to make on their minimum payment, and they've been paying an extra $1,000 a month to pay down their credit card debt with the money that they've gotten from the mortgage deferral.
Giant mistake.
Okay, but I just want you to know that's the facts. They got medical bills and tax. They're paying $400 a month. 2 car payments, $850. Car insurance, $300. Utilities, cable, and cell phone, $950. I'm just kind of winging the numbers. Food, $1,000. Miscellaneous, $500. Their total expenses are $6,250. They got $416 left, but they're not making their mortgage payment. If they didn't
I
do
have a
that,
question.
go ahead.
What's their favorite color?
Green.
That's going to be the color of the tent that they're going to be living in if they keep making the same mistake. Right
Okay,
now.
well, let's just kind of, I mean, they're sitting here in the office. I don't think it's nice for you to say that to them. Mark, I want you to meet Brian.
What
Amanda?
color tent do you want to live in? That's
I
the reality. There's
going with
nothing
blue.
nice about it.
But no,
they
but-
made
but-
a mistake.
okay,
It
but,
has to
all
be
right,
fixed.
So yeah, let's go through it. So with no deferral, if they were making their mortgage payment of $2,400 a month, that's their mortgage payment, and they were just paying their minimum payments on their credit cards, and everything else was the same, then their expenses exceed their income by $984. Of that $984, $1,250 a month was credit card debt, $400 were medical bills and tax payments. Okay?
Okay.
So, in the Chapter 13, is it fair to say you get up to 60 months to pay back the arrearage?
Yes, 60 months to pay back the arrearage on the mortgage, 60 months to pay back property taxes that you've fallen behind on, 60 months to deal with the IRS debt that they also happen to have.
All right, so hear
And
me out.
60 months to pay the credit card companies back exactly 0.
Okay, I like that. But let's talk about the house for a second. They didn't make the mortgage payment for 12 months. So they're behind on the mortgage $28,800, 12 times
It's a lot of money.
$2,400.
And people don't realize just how big it gets and how quick it gets so big.
So $28,800 divided by 60 months means they're going to have to make a house payment
Like $500 more.
$480 more than their $2,400 in the Chapter 13 plan, right?
That's correct. It takes $480 a month to catch up $28,800.
Now, and I see your face. Sorry. Thank you, Jeff. I appreciate the sympathy. And I see you're angry about what they did, but they've done it. And they're now meeting with you on a Chapter 13, and in that scenario, they're going to have to pay $28. They're going to have to pay that extra $480 a month, right?
Let's take a quick step into reality. This is right now, not 12 months after they've taken the forbearance. Forbearance has started.
What started in April?
Yeah, but we're not there yet. If you've already started and you took a forbearance and you're 6 months in or 7 months in, it is not too late to look at Chapter 13 now as your solution versus waiting till the forbearance is over.
Understood. Right now, for our hypothetical, we're waiting till it's over because this is based upon the 12 months. Just kind of go with me on this, okay? So here's their point. If at the end of the forbearance period, the lender says you need to pay back the money within 2 years or 3 years, they're not willing to give them a loan modification. Your Chapter 13 is at least giving you 5 years, correct?
Yes, it's giving you 5 years. But do you know what else happened in this situation? In the same year, they flushed $30,000 down the toilet paying back credit card debt. And it didn't accomplish a thing for them.
Oh, it was a big mistake.
They could have stayed out of forbearance and gotten rid of the credit card debt through the Chapter 13 and own their house and keep their mortgage payment at its normal level.
All right, I'm 100% with you. The point is, and we actually talked about it before we got to the example, for sure you don't want to take mortgage forbearance and use that money to pay down credit card debt. That's a mistake. If you don't need the money, you shouldn't take the mortgage forbearance. But you shouldn't take the money and use it to pay down credit card debt.
And here's one thing that people don't seem to recognize. They think that they're going to come out of mortgage forbearance and they're going to be fine, and it's not going to have any impact on them. I assure you, from talking to people in the mortgage industry, right now, if you're in a forbearance and you wanted to refinance your house because the rates are so low,
for sure it's a problem.
You're not getting refinanced.
Okay. But we're coming up to a break, and here's what I want to do with Mark and Amanda. So I want you to think about this during the break. They made these mistakes, and now they're going into a Chapter 13. They're going to have to pay that extra $480 on the mortgage payment. I want you to explain to us how the Chapter 13 will still save them. We'll be back after the break.
If you're retired and in a financial crisis, there is a way out.
It pains me when I see a retired couple exhaust their savings by paying credit card bills and for a home hopelessly underwater.
THAV GROSS specializes in helping retired people in financial crisis.
You just can't keep paying until you're broke. You need to address the problem now.
888-235-HELP. That's 888-235-HELP.
We're THAV GROSS. Our firm will solve your problem.
I love you too. Bye-bye. That was Jerry. Emma just said her first word.
Oh.
Jerry says hello and they'll be over soon.
Who's Jerry? Is he a friend of yours?
No. This Jerry. Our Jerry. And this is his wife and their little girl.
Time for announcements. I want to remind our viewers to listen to us for Law and Reality Live on the Praise Network, Tuesdays 10 o'clock a.m., Saturdays 7 o'clock a.m., and on KISS 105.9, Sundays 7 o'clock a.m. Be sure and sign up for the fall giveaway. $500 Visa gift card, Law and Reality hat, and a copy of my book, Dump Your Debt. The drawing is November 1st. All you have to do is go to the homepage on Law and Reality, pop in your email address, and you're entered. It's $500. Make sure you take advantage of it. We have a webinar coming up on Wednesday, November 4th, 6:30 to 8 o'clock p.m. No estate plan. What are you thinking? The majority of Americans still don't have an estate plan. It's an absolutely essential thing to have to plan not only for what if you die, but also when you are living and you need someone to act on your behalf. Suppose you're disabled. Suppose you go into the nursing home. Suppose you need your parent to take care of some financial transactions for you when you're at college. All this stuff fits into into an estate plan. You need to have the right plan. Learn the right documents, those that apply while you're living, the will and the trust for when you pass away. Understand probate, how to avoid probate and spending the money on it, how to avoid the biggest mistakes in estate planning. Attendees get a gold certificate off the cost of any estate plan. You want to sign up at thavgross.com, lawandreality.com, or call 888-235-HELP. We have a webinar coming up on December 9th, 6:30 to 8 o'clock p.m. There's no better gift than being debt-free. We're going to walk you through all the methods that we use to eliminate debt so that your future income starts going in the bank rather than going to Visa and MasterCard. Solutions using bankruptcy, solutions outside of bankruptcy, special segment on small businesses facing debt issues as a result of COVID. We're going to talk about options inside, outside of bankruptcy. What's the smartest strategy? Attendees get a free copy of my book, Dump Your Debt. Sign up at thavgross.com, lawandreality.com, or call 888-235-HELP. Remember, you can always come into the firm for a free consultation. During COVID, we're doing them in office using all social distancing protocols. We're also doing teleconference and video conference if that's your preference. Just go onto the website, request a free consult, call the office, 888-235-HELP. You can request it that way. Debt issues, tax issues, estate planning issues, business law issues, elder law issues with Pat and Jim Samasco, disability issues with Jeff Kirshner, criminal law issues with Scott Weinberg. Remember, just go to the website or call 888-235-HELP. Take advantage of the free consults. Our free consults are not meet and greets. We analyze the problem, give you the recommended solution. We let you know what it's going to cost, how to pay it, what's the smartest move, the right plan. Also on the website are free reports. Brand new Resolving Tax Problems, The Real Solutions, written by Jeff Linden and myself. How to Save Your Home from Foreclosure, Business Loans and Formations in Michigan, and the Retiree's Guide from Social Security from Pat Samasco. I want to thank our sponsors, THAV Gross, Samasco Law. Now back to the show.
COVID-19 presents a fight for our personal and business financial survival. You have to make choices. Cash is critical. Do you tap your retirement, home equity line, or run up the credit cards? You need the right plan to avoid being wiped out, and you need it now. You can't rely on the government or banks. Call us. We're the experts in financial crisis. We are here for you and your business in the Great Recession, and we're here for you now. We will create a plan and get through this together. THAV Gross will solve your problem.
All right, so we're back. All right, so I want you to go through, they made the mistake. They had 12 months forbearance. The lender's saying, pay us back in 2 years. You're putting them in a Chapter 13 so that they get the benefit of 5 years to catch up on the mortgage, right? How does the rest of it play out?
So
is this going to work for them?
It will work for them, and it actually will work even if the lender said, pay us back over 5 years, because the concept is the same. It's, look at all the other debt that they have. They're coming out of the
$50,000 of credit card debt.
Right, $50,000 of the credit card debt and $10,000 to the IRS.
And
all of
medical
which
bills.
Everybody's grabbing for money. So what Chapter 13 does is it takes what's important, it looks at your budget, and it pays the important bills first. So what's the most important bill in this situation?
Mortgage payment.
The mortgage
Car
payment
payments.
and the arrears on the mortgage. I can take the car, and which they financed at 22% interest, and I can lower the interest rate down to 5 or 6% interest. I can take the car and I can have you pay back what it's worth, not what you owe if it's been financed as a purchase.
So assuming I was leasing the two cars and they were reasonable leases,
lease cars,
we just keep paying them?
Keep paying them.
All right, so where does that come out for Mark and Amanda? Before, when we looked at it, assuming they were making the mortgage payment of $2,400, now they're going to have to pay $2,880 on their mortgage, right?
That's effectively the way you're going to look at it.
But they're not going to be paying anything. The credit card payments at $1,250 are going to go down to zero. So you completely get rid of the credit card debt.
And the IRS debt is going to get paid back at basically over 5 years of $10,000 over 5 years.
Isn't it dischargeable if it's over 3 years old?
Well, if it's over 3 years old,
This
yes.
is over 3 years old.
Then if it's over 3 years old, it gets paid back zero.
Zero, okay. The two car payments they're going to keep paying. The car insurance and they're gonna keep paying.
And
the utilities.
what it takes to live. See, Chapter 13 looks at your budget and says, what does it take to live, eat, sleep, breathe, and be happy? You can even contribute to your 401k if you've been contributing to a 401k while you're in Chapter 13. Something that the bank doesn't want you to do. They want all your. So imagine that you're still allowed to save for your retirement.
That's awesome, actually.
And at the same time,
get rid of your credit card
Get rid of your credit card debt.
So here's where they come out. So if I'm right, at the end of the day, in the Chapter 13, they're paying 0 on the credit cards. That gets discharged at the end.
Absolutely.
They're $186 positive. They have 0 credit card debt, 0 tax debt. The medical bills are gone, and they're getting caught up on the mortgage within the 5-year period.
Actually, they're at the end of the Chapter 13, remember their mortgage payment is going to drop back down
to $2,400
to what it was. So therefore, they're not just $186 payment; they're $600-700 ahead.
Once it's over. So
once it's over.
So it's a good outcome. So
It's
why
a great
are you
outcome.
so angry about it then?
Because they paid $25,000 to the credit card company during the same period of time. They flushed money down the toilet. They waited to act. Instead of actually getting the result, they could have started with the same result today, and they would have saved $25,000 real money.
They could have taken no forbearance and gotten rid of all the credit card debt, all the medical bills, and everything else, and they would have been fine.
Correct. And remember, they can't foreclose unless you're 4 months behind on your mortgage in the first place. Most people, not everybody, but most people aren't going to let that happen without doing something to actively save the home.
So are you saying that in most circumstances you're probably better off, or you should certainly look at a Chapter 13 as an alternative to even doing mortgage forbearance if you have other debt, credit card debt,
Absolutely.
medical bills, and taxes?
Absolutely.
And what you don't want to do, I think what you're mad about here is using the mortgage forbearance to pay dischargeable debts like credit cards and the taxes.
It's absolutely the wrong thing to do.
So you're saying you didn't like my
When
outline?
should Mark and Amanda come talk to you?
They should come talk to me before they think about taking the forbearance in the first place, or if they're in the middle of a forbearance right now, they need the advice now so that we can plan it and get them out of debt without causing any more trauma.
Are you going to yell at them like you were yelling at me?
No, but it makes me angry that they put together this program without understanding that there's going to be real consequences on the other side of this, and it's actually going to be really bad.
Here's the point, the takeaway. There are better alternatives. You need to investigate your options. Investigate them, then make the decisions. Don't just do it ad hoc. Have a great week. We'll be back with Law and Reality.